Welcome to the Captain English Podcast, your go-to place for learning English in a fun, natural, and super easy way. I'm Paul, your host.
And I'm Alice, your other host. It's great to be back with all of you, our amazing listeners. Paul, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun?
Oh, Alice, it was actually really good. I finally got around to reading that new science fiction novel I bought last month. You know, the one I was telling you about? It was fantastic. And then I went for a long bike ride on Sunday morning. What about you? Anything exciting happen?
That sounds lovely, Paul. Reading a good book and a bike ride? Classic relaxation. My weekend was pretty chill, too. I spent a lot of time in my garden, planting some new herbs, and then Sunday was all about baking. I tried a new recipe for sourdough bread, and honestly, it turned out pretty well.
Baking sourdough? Wow, that sounds impressive, Alice. You know, this casual chat we're having right now, talking about what we did over the weekend, what we like to do in our spare time, it actually brings us perfectly to today's topic, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Today, we're going to dive deep into all the different, natural, and super common English phrases you can use to talk about your hobbies and how you spend your free time. Because, let's be honest, it's one of those everyday conversations you have with new friends, colleagues, or even just when you're making small talk.
Exactly. And sometimes people get stuck just saying, my hobby is, which is fine, it's correct, but it can sound a bit formal or a bit basic, right? We want to give you phrases that make you sound more like a native speaker, more relaxed, more natural.
Absolutely. So, let's kick things off with one of the most common and versatile ways to express what you enjoy doing, using I like, I love, or I enjoy, followed by a verb ending in ing, which we call a gerund. So, for example, I like reading, I love cooking, I enjoy hiking.
That's a fantastic starting point, Alice. It's simple, direct, and very widely used. So instead of my hobby is to read, you'd say, I like reading. Or my hobby is to cook becomes, I love cooking. It just flows better, doesn't it?
Much better. And you can really spice it up with adverbs too. Like, I really enjoy painting or I absolutely love traveling. It adds more emphasis and makes your speech more expressive. What do you think, Paul? What's something you really enjoy doing?
For me, I really enjoy playing board games. It's something I do with my friends usually once a week. And I absolutely love watching documentaries, especially about history or nature. It's how I unwind after a long day. See how natural that sounds?
Perfect examples, Paul. Now, moving on to another very common and cool phrase, I'm into. This one is super casual and really tells people you have a strong interest in something. So, if someone asks, what do you do in your free time? You could say, I'm into photography or I'm into learning new languages.
Yeah, I'm into is great because it implies a bit more passion, a bit more involvement than just I like. If you say I'm into cycling, it suggests you don't just occasionally ride a bike. You're probably serious about it. Maybe you have special gear or you go on long rides. It's a good one to show enthusiasm.
Exactly. It shows more dedication. So I could say, I'm really into gardening these days, or I'm into trying new recipes. It fits perfectly with what I was talking about earlier with my sourdough bread, right?
Totally. It makes it clear that it's a current and active interest. Another excellent phrase, and one that's very versatile, is I'm a big fan of. This is often used for things like sports, music, or movies, but you can also use it for hobbies. For instance, I'm a big fan of hiking, or I'm a big fan of cooking Italian food.
Oh, that's a brilliant one, Paul. I'm a big fan of immediately tells someone you really, really like something. Like, I could say, I'm a big fan of mystery novels, which is true. It's stronger than just I like reading mystery novels.
Right? It adds a layer of enthusiasm. Now let's talk about how we actually spend our time. A very common way to express this is, I spend a lot of my free time, or I spend my weekends. For example, I spend a lot of my free time volunteering at the local animal shelter. Or, I spend my weekends working on my car.
That's super useful because it combines the activity with the concept of free time. So instead of just listing an activity, you're placing it within the context of your spare hours. I could say, I spend a lot of my free time exploring new walking trails. Or, I usually spend my Sunday afternoons painting. It's very descriptive.
Exactly. It paints a picture, doesn't it? And speaking of painting pictures, a slightly more advanced but very natural phrase for expressing enjoyment is, I get a kick out of. This means you find something very exciting or enjoyable. For example, I get a kick out of finding rare vintage records. Or, I really get a kick out of solving complex puzzles.
Ooh, I get a kick out of is a great one for adding a bit more personality to your English. It's very idiomatic. It really makes it sound like you're getting a thrill or a strong positive feeling from the activity. I might say, I get a real kick out of watching old black and white movies. It's a bit quirky, but it expresses that unique enjoyment.
It's perfect for those specific, maybe slightly niche interests. Now let's consider talking about your free time in a more general sense. You can say, in my free time, I usually, followed by whatever you do. For example, in my free time, I usually catch up on TV shows. Or, in my free time, I usually just relax at home.
This is a fantastic all-rounder phrase, Paul. It's simple, clear, and everybody understands it. It's perfect when someone asks, what do you do when you're not working? You can just say, oh, in my free time, I usually go for walks with my dog. Or, in my free time, I usually try to learn something new online.
Super useful. And what about when you want to talk about how you relax or unwind? A common phrase is, I like to unwind by, or I usually unwind by. So, I like to unwind by listening to classical music, or I usually unwind by taking a hot bath. It's a great way to talk about relaxation techniques.
Yes, everyone needs to unwind, right? This phrase is very specific to those activities that help you de-stress. I usually unwind by reading a good book or doing some yoga. It's a phrase that resonates with everyone because we all have our own ways to relax.
Absolutely. Now sometimes, we have hobbies we want to try, but haven't started yet. For that, you can say, I've been meaning to try, or I'd love to get into. For example, I've been meaning to try learning to play the guitar. Or, I'd love to get into pottery. These phrases show your aspirations.
Those are excellent for future hobbies. It opens up a conversation for sure. I've been meaning to try some indoor rock climbing actually. It looks really challenging but fun. And I'd love to get into painting with watercolors. It seems so peaceful.
Both sound great, Alice. I've been meaning to try learning Spanish more seriously. I'd love to get into cooking more diverse international cuisines. It's funny how many things we want to try, right? It's always good to have new goals. Now, let's switch gears a little. What if you want to ask someone else about their hobbies?
Oh, that's crucial. Because conversation is a two-way street. The most straightforward way, which is perfectly natural, is what do you like to do in your free time? Or what do you do for fun? Simple, polite, and effective.
Those are your go-to questions. You can also be a bit more specific if you know the person a little. Like, are you into any sports? Or, do you have any creative hobbies? That shows you're paying attention and genuinely interested.
Exactly. And if you've already talked about what you do, you can ask something like, how do you usually unwind? Or what's your favorite way to relax? It's a nice follow-up question that shows you're engaged.
Fantastic advice, Alice. We've covered quite a lot today. From expressing what you love to do, to what you're into, what you're a big fan of, how you spend your time, how you unwind, and even hobbies you're hoping to pick up. And, importantly, how to ask others.
It's a comprehensive toolkit for talking about your hobbies and free time. Remember, the key is to practice these phrases. Try using a different one each day when you're thinking about or talking about what you do for fun. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
Absolutely. Don't just listen. Actively try to incorporate these into your daily English practice. And speaking of practice, If you're enjoying what you're hearing and finding these tips helpful, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Subscribing helps us reach more learners like you and ensures you never miss a new episode of Captain English.
Yes, please subscribe. It really supports us. So, just to recap some of those essential phrases, I like love. Enjoy ing, I'm into, I'm a big fan of, I spend a lot of my free time. In my free time, I like to unwind by, I've been meaning to try, and what do you like to do in your free time?
Excellent summary, Alice. That's a lot of great vocabulary and natural expressions packed into one episode. We really encourage all of you to pick one or two of these new phrases and try to use them today. Maybe tell a friend what you get a kick out of, or what you've been meaning to try.
That's a brilliant challenge, Paul. Make it a game for yourself. And remember, it's not just about the words, it's about having the confidence to use them. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how we learn and improve.
Couldn't agree more, Alice. Confidence is key. So thank you all so much for tuning in to Captain English today. We hope this episode helps you talk about your passions and pastimes with more flair and confidence.
It was a pleasure spending this time with you all. Keep practicing, keep learning, and we'll catch you next time on the Captain English podcast. Bye for now.
See ya. Keep up the great work with your English.